Ladies and gentlemen, Harlequins are in fact silly and goofy, and I love them. What's up, everybody? It's Connor K, 40K here, and I know you're probably expecting a deep literary analysis of any of the set literature of 40K that I own. But I don't want to do that today because, quite frankly, I had a long day and I have ingested about a meal of, if a family of five could eat this meal, I simply devoured this meal. And it got me thinking, not of Tyranids, but of Harlequins, because in most of the stories I've read, Harlequins do play a role, whether that be in the background or they directly influence events in the main story, i.e., we can go to the Night Lord's Omnibus, the first book, which was it Soul Killer or Reaver? It was one of those. But Harlequins are in the Night Lord's trilogy as well. They're in the Fabius Bile trilogy. They have been in really most of the Chaos books, and to me, they are so just silly and but funny in a really weird and creepy way. Because when I think of creepy stuff in 40K, I'll think, anything that's in the warp when the Geller field fails, that's fair, right? Reality distorts, and you're like, your bro right next to you, who used to be a normal dude named Kevin, now has a fish for a face and is trying to kill you for some god called Slanesh. You don't know who that is. You're just a lower dock worker. You're on this big ass ship that is going on for miles, and you're thinking, yeah, this is cool. And you get to your destination, and you're just doing your thing, the Geller field fails, all sorts of goofy shit, right? And that's fine. But Harlequins always have an ulterior motive. They're always, performing, right? And, I never really considered them creepy, because really, I guess they're not. They are funny. But it's creepy in the sense that we really know every faction's goal, in a sense. Orcs fight, the Imperium command, control, conquer, they expand, all that stuff. Tau, assimilate into the greater good. You need to do this. Tyranids, devour, like a young college kid who just had his first experience with substances. Who knows? We obviously know the overall goal of each faction, whether that's Chaos as well, even divided and undivided. We know what the hell each Chaos God's about, because it's pretty self-explanatory when we first meet them. Khorne, blood. Slanesh, excess. Tzeentch, schemes, change. And Nurgle, being a little stinky guy. But you get what I mean? These things are so laid out in front of us. It's really easy, and if we kind of forget, of course, these are their main things. There's no mystery behind them, which is fine. 40K is full of mystery. The appeal of 40K to me is obviously the novels, because I like the lore and world building. I like themes like the loss of knowledge, which is always apparent, these mysteries. The War of the False Primarch. There's so much more stuff that's always left out. The Unification Wars, Dark Age of Technology, the Age of Strife. The mystery is plentiful in 40K. But the Harlequins I think are at the top, because I never really know what their goal is, and I don't know if there's books that really clarify it. But Kegarak, the Laughing God, is just a goofball, and you truly don't know what he's going to do. With Tzeentch, who I would say maybe is his closest counterpart, Tzeentch will do anything for change. He'll power up some random Chaos Lord, and then as he gets close to achieving his goal, he'll, turn him into Warp Spawn. Why? Because it's funny and it's change, and his underlings will actually assume control, which then leads to this planet called Nebula 5 rising up. And it fulfills some weird scheme, because that's who he is. Kegarak does things in secret for his own goals, and none will understand. It's inferred. It wasn't inferred. I know it was directly stated that Magnus said that Fulgrim and the Khan's pods were switched due to warp influence by, something in the warp. So, obviously you can speculate the Chaos God's a really popular theory is Kegarak, or, for instance, spoiler alert, in the Fabius Bile trilogy, there's a Harlequin called Voidwalker who is constantly manipulating things throughout the entire book, whether that's with the Drukhari or with other war bands like, the Radiant King. Like, the Harlequins directly influence a lot of character stories without them knowing, or later they find out that the Harlequins are doing it, but nobody knows why. And the Harlequins, when they give you answers in typical Eldar fashion, they answer you with more riddles. Like, the Eldar are somehow allergic to giving you really answers you're going to comprehend. And that really plays into, again, the Harlequins as a whole, as a faction. It's insane. It really is insane. I don't know. They're interesting to me. I mean, they're super cool. Like, genuinely, when I see Voidwalker show up on screen in the Fabius Bile trilogy, she's laughing and, doing her thing, and like the play, because they're performers and they assume roles. And I think that's also a really unique way to portray the faction, because it fits into their whole, aspect, whether that's fighting or talking or doing anything in service of the Laughing God. They're so fucking unique and cool. It's, I think they're underrated. Like, there's definitely more factions that aren't talked about enough, like, Sisters of Silence and maybe others that I'm forgetting. I feel like the Guard's pretty talked about enough, but the whole point of this little late night thought rant thing is that I think the Harlequins are super cool, and I kind of wish I started appreciating them a little more. Like, I've never been a huge Eldar guy, but, if I were to be, I wouldn't be like a typical Eldar fan. Like, I don't think I'd really go for just either the Drukhari or Craftworld Eldar, or even Exodites, because what do Exodites do? They're like, I guess, like the hippie version of Eldar, even though I feel like Eldar are already pretty hippie in a way anyway. Like, they ride dinosaurs, which is cool, and I'm really into that aesthetic because I think that's really, badass, and that would look good on a model. But I'm not into that, when it comes to reading and all the books. That's not my thing. I tend to follow the more serious and all the mystery and the things with hidden agendas, which is perfect for 40K because everyone has some sort of hidden agenda and some hidden goal. But really no one exemplifies this more than the Harlequins, because they're silly goofballs who will absolutely murder you for no reason other than, a reason only known to them. And I think that's one of the more creepiest parts of 40K, is that when it comes to secrecy and absolute, plans and motion and prophecies and the library, all this hidden lore stuff in the setting, I'm saying, not here, but in lore, in world building stuff, the Harlequins are just insane. But it's like, they perfectly personify 40K insanity, I think. They're just, are underrated. Let's end the video right here. I think, personally, Connor K 40K thinks these elves, the Night Eaters, sorry to drop that on YouTube, guys. I know this is a family-friendly channel, but I can't stand elves. Nah, I'm playing. The Eldari are cool, and the Harlequins are really cool. I feel like they're definitely the highlight of the whole Eldar faction for me. The sub-faction of them are super cool. Kegarak, super cool. And I never really thought I'd be saying that about Eldar, but I'm not ashamed to say it. Anyway, that was a little video. Thank you if you stayed along for this little late night rant. I don't usually make videos this late, but you gotta go out of your comfort zone once in a while. Anyway, guys, thanks for sticking around. It's appreciated. Other than that, I am gonna keep reading Valdor, and I'm gonna keep reading Gaunt's Ghosts, so stick around for that. Other than that, guys, thanks, and I'm out of here.